Hello and welcome to the Django GraphQL Query Fundamentals course. My name is Xander. This tutorial is part of a whole course playlist available for free on YouTube. For deeper learning, the extended course is available for purchase at Udemy. Now you'll find all the resources and links in the video description. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for weekly promotions, discounts, and Udemy course giveaways. In this tutorial, we're going to look at how to make your Django models available in the Django Admin interface and how to interact with them once they're there. If you're new to Django, then you won't know about the Django Admin. It is a built-in tool that lets you view, add, and manage model data through a web interface, which is especially helpful maybe during development. Right, so nothing too fancy here. Let's just get it registered so you can view them and maybe start to add some data throughout this course, although that won't necessarily be required because I'm going to show you how to populate the database. But it might be that you want to add some custom data as we start querying the database to view different outcomes with data for you to better understand what it is the query is doing when we generate different queries. Okay, so we created this inventory app using Django's tools, and it did provide us a number of different files by default. One of them is the admin file here. This is where we can specify what we want to interact with in the admin site. So to register a model, because in order to interact with our database models or tables, we're going to need to register them. So first of all, I'm going to just import them. So from .models import, and then I'm just going to import all the models that we've created so far. Now what I have done at this point is I've finished populating all of the tables. Now this data is available. You can access this source code connected to the first tutorial in this module. So you go ahead and download that and maybe copy it across if you're following along. So once that's done, I go ahead in the admin module here, we go ahead and import all of the models, and then we go ahead and just register all the models in the admin site. So what we've done here is we've simply told Django that these models exist, and Django has now all the backend information to interact with them so that we can start to add, remove, delete, and view data in all of our tables. Right, so let's check this out. So we are going to need to make sure that we have removed fake from line 39 in our Docker Compose file, so we can actually migrate and view all this in the Django admin for now. And once that's done, let's make sure that all of the containers have been deleted. So just go ahead and remove those. And then just for added security, I'll go ahead and delete all the volumes in case that's been picked up by the database when we restart it. Okay, so that's all that we need to do there. And then we just need to restart our containers. Now, if everything works as intended, we can go over to our browser, type in localhost 8000, and then we need the /, and we're now going to access the admin site. So just type in admin. So localhost :8000 / admin, that takes you to the admin site. Now we have already registered a new user through the Docker automation. So that was admin and admin. So the username and password will be admin unless you've changed it. So that's the username and password. So you can now log in. And on the left-hand side here, you can now view all of the models that we've created. So we now have the capabilities to add data to our database through this admin site. So I select add, I go ahead and type out some data in this form. What we need to remember here is that behind the scenes is our model. It's defining the data types that is expected that's expected in our field. So this slug field will not allow, for example, special characters. So if I try inserting something like this and save, we'll be told that that is invalid. So we need to be careful when we add data to follow the rules that we've defined in our models. So I'll go ahead and press save, and we've now added a new record. I can go ahead and inspect this record. This is actually saved now in our database. I can go ahead and delete it or edit it again. So I can now perform all of those operations with all of my models here. Now, something I haven't mentioned yet is the DunderString method. So let me just show you it in action. So I select category. Notice this category takes up the name of the actual category. So if I change this to just name of category, so we can see this, you can see that it takes up the name of the category. Now, what you'll see at the end of each model is this DunderString method. So def string return, and then here it says self name. So in Django models, the string method, sometimes called the DunderString method, is a special function that controls how your object is displayed as a string. So when you define this method inside of our model, it tells Django whenever this object is shown as text, like in the admin or the shell, show this value. So here we specify the name of the category. Here we've specified the name of the promotion. Here we specify the name of the product. So you can change this. So you can change this to maybe slug or whatever you need, or a separate string. So this essentially just returns the string value of the object that you're currently viewing. So in this case, we return in the category, in the case of a category, let me take a quick look. In the case of a category, we're returning the name of the category. So if I add a new category, call that test, and add some of that and press save, of course, the name that I've specified is test. So it will then appear here as the name because of that DunderString method. Right, so we've now created our set of models. The only thing to tell you about is that I have removed the many-to-many references in our models for now. We can maybe add those a bit later when we start querying. But by all means, go ahead and download the source code connected to this module. View the models that we've created. By all means, make some changes. But if you do, you just need to remember what changes you've made, because as we work through the course, create queries, work with our data, of course, it's going to be very specific to the models that I've built here. Before we finish, let's not forget to return fake to line 39. Remember, we're not going to be using our models to create our database. Ultimately, we're going to set up a script which is going to automate that process shortly. So make sure you have that back in your code if you have removed it. So you've now seen how to register models in the Django admin, how to view, edit them, and how to improve the display with simple customizations. So these small steps make it much easier to work with your data while you're building and maybe testing your product.